lecture is about the skeletal system. For the lecture, we are going to talk about the functions of the system, okay, the types of skeleton, as to formation, as to the kind of bone tissue making up the skeleton, as to location. And then we're going to discuss the human skeletal system. Okay, especially you have the bones of the two divisions. We have the axial and the appendicular skeleton. And then we have the classification of bones based on shape. And then finally, we discuss the three different types or three different groups of joints and their examples. Okay, in terms of functions, one of the functions of the system, of the skeletal system, is support. And when we say support, no, the skeleton, okay, or the bones, they actually provide a very sturdy framework, no, for the entire body. Okay. So another function is movement. And in relation to movement, the bones, they actually provide leverage, for the attachment of muscles. Okay. So it is stated that movement is a joint function of three structures. Okay, you have the muscles, which provide force. Okay, so the muscles, they contract, and when they contract, no, they're able to pull on the bones. And the bones, they serve as attachment of muscles. And of course, we have the joints, which now provide flexibility. Okay. So again, in relation to movement, no, the bones, they provide leverage for the attachment of muscles. So the muscles are the one contracting. So when they contract or when they shorten, and that's another system. No, we have the discussion of the muscular system. So we are going to discuss there the mechanism of contraction. So again, so when the muscles shorten, okay, so they are able to pull on the bones, okay, in order to produce movement. Okay. And then another function of the skeletal system is, of course, protection. So the bones, they protect our vital organs. Like, for example, the skull, okay, protects the brain. Okay. And then we have here the vertebral column, it protects the spinal cord. And then the rib cage now protects the vital organs. So we have there the lungs, we have the heart, and then the pelvic bones or the pelvic areas or the coccyx, they protect part of the urinary tract, part of the digestive tract, and most importantly, the reproductive structures, no, or the reproductive system. And another function of the system is, or the bones rather, no, is the storage of minerals in the form of hydroxyapatite. Okay? So hydroxyapatite is actually a combination of calcium and phosphorus ions. Maybe in your chemistry, you would deal more on the formation of this hydroxyapatite. That's why bones are said to be very hard, no, because of the deposition of this calcium and phosphate making up hydroxyapatite. Still, another function is the storage of fat. So if you can still recall our discussion of the bone tissue, so we said that there are two types of bone marrow. Okay, so we have here the yellow bone marrow, and the yellow bone marrow is actually made up of fat. Okay, and we said that fats are the highest energy given compounds. That's why when you're eating bulalo, okay, you're calling the tissue here, not usually the Filipinos call the tissue here as the utak. Okay? But remember, the utak or the brain, no, literally is found inside the skull. So this is not the utak but the bone marrow. And the very reason why the bulalo, no, is so tasty, 'di ba? So masarap, it's because of the presence of these fats. Okay, especially if the usually the bones, no, with attached muscles are used in cooking the bulalo. Okay? So another function is hematopoiesis or hemopoiesis. So I think we have already discussed this in the connective tissue, right? In the hematopoietic tissue. So we said, again, recalling the structure of a bone. So the end of the bone is actually made up of spongy bone, right? And we said that it's called spongy because there are a lot of spaces and the spaces are filled with the red bone marrow, okay, which is responsible for hematopoiesis or hemopoiesis, okay? That's why we said the healthier the bones are, no, the healthier would be our blood, okay? Now, so we have the types of bone as to formation. So we have two. So we have the membrane or dermal bone, and then we have the endochondral bone. Okay. So an example of a membrane or dermal bone, no, is the fontanelle. Okay, so plural fontanelle. So in Filipino, no, we call them the fontanelles. We call them the bumbunan, diba? So um, so right after birth, diba? So when we palpate the skull of the newborn baby, especially in the frontal area, okay, so we would feel a soft area, and that's the fontanelle. Okay, actually there are a lot of fontanelles. Okay, so ito, no? And the fontanelle is actually made up of that's why it's relatively softer compared to the other structures, no? Because it's made up of fibrous tissue, no? And when we say membrane bone or dermal bone, okay, so it's formed by the direct ossification. So we have here the term ossification. So ossification is the process of bone formation, no? It's the process explaining how bones are formed, okay? And in a membrane bone or a dermal bone, okay, supposing this is the fontanelle, no? This is a section, a representative section of the fontanelle of a fetal skull, okay? So the light blue color here, okay, indicates bone formation or ossification, the laying down of matrix. What you see here are actually the osteocytes, okay? And the fontanelle is actually made up of a fibrous tissue, okay? And when we say membrane bone or dermal bone, there is direct ossification, no, in a fibrous tissue. In this case, in the fontanelle. Okay, so that after some time, okay, so as you can see here, so you have already the expansion and the spreading of the matrix. No? If you can still recall the trabeculae, okay? So yun, so that's why the fontanelles are called the membrane or the dermal bone or bones na because again, ossification or bone formation happens no within membranous or a fibrous tissue. Okay? So that's why during the development of the child, so relatively, no, after some time, the fontanelles, okay, they don't really disappear, but they are replaced with bone. Okay? So the other type of bone is the endochondral or cartilage bone. So from the prefix endo, okay, it means within. Okay, chondral means cartilage. Okay, because here ossification actually starts with a cartilage model. Okay, and here, no, this represents now, okay, the process of ossification, no, turning the cartilage model, no, relatively, okay, to become a bone. So, yan, no? So that's why it's called a cartilage bone because the bone actually started as a cartilage. Okay, and endochondral again because ossification, okay, occurs within the cartilage. No? So the start is the starting material is actually a cartilage model. So most of our long bones are actually endochondral or cartilage bones. Okay, so these are examples of cartilage bones. No? So initially, no, especially during fetal development, so our long bones are made up of cartilages. That's why relatively younger people have more bones compared to adults. Because as a person grows and as a person ages, no, some of the bones when they develop, they become fused to become structures. Okay. Now, in terms of histology, uh, please correct the misconception that bones are dry. No, they are not. No, but in fact, the bone tissue is made up of 25% water. Okay, so it's not really dry. No, it contains a lot of water, 25%. It also contains 25% collagen, and based from our discussion of the connective tissue, so we said that the collagen fibers or the collagen proteins are responsible for the strength of the connective tissue. That's why the bones are also very, very strong. Okay. And the hardness of the bone is, of course, because of the deposition of mineral salt. So we said earlier, no, so we have calcium and phosphorus, and they form hydroxyapatite. Okay, so that's the major apatite. That's the major mineral, okay, that makes the bones very, very hard. Okay. Now, in terms of bone cells, there are four types or four groups. So the most immature ones are the osteoprogenitor cells. Again, we are utilizing the prefix osteo, okay, to indicate bone. Okay, again, osteo came from the functional unit of the bone, which is the osteon. Okay. So osteoprogenitor cells are the most immature ones, and they have high mitotic rate. Okay, they divide very, very fast, and they have the capacity to differentiate or mature, not really mature, not to form or to transform themselves to become osteoblast. Okay. So again, we said in the discussion of the connective tissue that when cells end with blast, it means they are still immature. Okay. So in this case, an osteoblast produces the components of the matrix. So you have the fibers and the ground substance. Okay. But unlike the osteoprogenitor cell, an osteoblast cannot divide anymore. Okay. And as osteoblasts are continuously producing the components of the matrix, so you have the fibers and the ground substance, they actually become trapped, no, in the components of the matrix that they've created or produced, and um, they become osteocytes. So osteocytes are the mature bone cells, and the osteocytes are responsible for maintaining the daily cellular activities of the bone tissue. Okay. Now we have another type of cell, but of course, no, this came from a different lineage. So we have now an osteoclast. Okay. So an osteoclast is a resident, again, monocyte or macrophage, okay, found in the bone. So if you can still recall our discussion last time on the integumentary system. So we said that the Langerhans cells, okay, the Langerhans cells responsible for our innate immunity is found among the cells of the epidermis. So like the Langerhans cells, the osteoclast are, again, no, they are the fixed macrophages. They are fixed to the bone tissue. And again, no, if they are macrophages, so they are capable of protecting the bone from microorganisms, okay, by ingesting them, kasi based from the name macrophage. Okay, and another very important function of an osteoclast is for bone resorption and remodeling. Okay. So let's try to see here a representation of the bone tissue So we can see here the different osteocytes. So we said that the osteocytes are responsible for maintaining the daily cellular activities of the bone tissue. Then we have here osteoblasts. Ito, yan. We have the osteoblast cells. And this representation, the yellow color with the dots, no, it's a representation that the osteoblasts are creating the components of the matrix. Okay? And yeah, no, they are laying down the components of the matrix. Okay? And as they do, okay, so there would come a time that they will become surrounded, okay, by that matrix, and they will differentiate to become an osteocyte. Okay? So that's the role of osteoblasts. So they are the uh, bone producers. Okay? They are the bone makers. Whereas you have here an osteoclast, you have here a representation. So being a monocyte again, being a macrophage, it shows here that an osteoclast, especially in this in this particular micrograph. So we can see here an osteoclast actually destroying the matrix. Okay? And destruction or resorption is actually part of the normal process in bone remodeling. Okay? So there are bone destroyers and there are bone builders. Like for example, in renovating in renovating a house, for example, no? So if you would want to renovate it, so most of the time, no, we are or you are going to remove the wall, no? So the wall will be destroyed. So if you're going to analogize that to the bone cell, so the destruction is the work of an osteoclast. Okay? And after destroying the wall, no, during renovation, so again, depending on the style, so hollow blocks again and cement, no? So hollow blocks will be laid down utilizing cement to form another structure. So that's the work naman of the osteoblast. Okay? So there are bone destroyers and there are bone builders. And again, no, resorption and remodeling, they are naturally occurring processes. Like for example, no, if you're familiar with the bone of the thigh, okay, that's the femur. So the ends of the femur, no, their epiphyses, they are remodeled, I think, every after 4 weeks. Okay? And remodeling is a natural thing, no? Like for example, in people deciding to have braces, no? And why is that the case? Because of maybe misalignment of the teeth, right? So braces are placed and usually the pressure is also applied, okay? Because the macrophages, no, the osteoclasts, they can also detect pressure and by that, no, they are forced to destroy, okay, some bone matrices so that the osteoblast can again produce, no, the components of the matrix. So thereby the area is remodeled. So after some time, no, the teeth, no, would be aligned. Okay, depending again on the direction of the pressure applied to the teeth by, of course, the braces. Okay, so yun, ano. So again, we have bone builders. Those are the osteoblasts, and we have the bone destroyers. We have the osteoclast naman. Okay. Now we have the classification of skeleton as to the kind of bone tissue. I think we have discussed this already last time. So we have the spongy or the cancellous bone. And then we have here the compact bone. Okay. So just to recall, no? So if you have here, again, a representation of the bone. So the ends are made up of spongy bone. Okay, so again, spongy because there are a lot of spaces and the spaces are filled with the, oh, nawala. And the spaces are filled with, wait lang. Yan, no? The spaces are filled with the red bone marrow. So ito. So we have here the red bone marrow. And then ito, the shaft of the bone or the main stem is made up of the compact bone. And we said, no, it's compact because you don't see spaces, and under the microscope, the compact bone is made up of the osteons or the haversian system. And again, no, we have discussed the parts last time. Okay? So what about the parts of a long bone? And we've also discussed this last time, no? We have parts of the long bone. Ito dapat ay long bone. Yan, no? Okay, so the ends, okay, are the epiphysis. Okay, plural. Wala. Yan, no? So, plural with an E. Ano nalilikot ko? Wait lang, ha? Okay. So, plural with an E. Epiphysis. Ay, teka lang, ha? Testing. Ayun, no? So, ito, plural with an epiphysis. Malikot siya. Ano bang ginagawa niya? Very, very sorry. Isa pa. Wait lang, ha? Wala na. Ito. Okay. So we have here, wala na ulit. Wait lang. What's happening? Hmm, Okay. So hopefully, no? Okay, so going back again. So the ends of a long bone, okay, they are called the epiphysis. So plural with, ano ba nangyayari dito? Niloloko ko nito. Okay, plural with an E. Okay? And then, so you have here the proximal epiphysis, and then we have here the distal epiphysis. And then, the region here, no? The region between the, ato muna, before the metaphysis, so ito, the main shaft of the bone, okay, this is the diaphysis naman, ito, no? So the diaphysis is made up, okay, of the compact bone. And then the region between the diaphysis and the epiphysis, so that's the, actually ito yun eh, no? That's the metaphysis, so ito. Okay? So ayan. And the metaphysis is actually made up of the epiphyseal plate cartilage. And what is the significance of this epiphyseal plate cartilage? So for one, no, it's a type of an immovable joint, no, because it actually joins two parts, eh, no? You have the epiphysis and the diaphysis. Okay. Another significance is that the epiphyseal plate cartilage, that's the site of ossification. If you can still recall endochondral ossification, diba? So ito, it represents here ossification. And ossification, no, in terms of direction, it goes towards the area of the epiphysis. So it means that as the cartilage here is replaced with bone, okay, so what happens is that the bone elongates, humahaba siya, no? But that's why we also grow people, at di na pala ako lumalaki, no? So people, especially children, no, during the adolescent stage, no, they really grow very, very fast, no, because of, again, you have the interplay of hormones and everything. And during that stage, no, the epiphyseal plate cartilage is now ossified to become a bone. Okay? And the sad thing is, roughly at around the age of 25 years old, no, there would come a time that the epiphyseal plate cartilage will be completely replaced with bone. Okay? So if that happens, okay, we call that the epiphyseal line na, no? So again, if the epiphyseal plate cartilage is totally replaced with bone, it's already called the epiphyseal line, and the bone ceases to grow. And the person, of course, no, ceases to grow. So hindi na lalaki. So yun, okay? Okay, so going back to the region of the diaphysis, now we can see here ito, medullary, or the marrow cavity. And we said that the yellow bone marrow, no, is found inside the marrow cavity. Okay? And then you have two coverings of the bone. So the outer covering, this one, yan. Okay, that's the periosteum. Again, peri meaning around, osteum meaning bone. And then the inner covering of the bone, okay, that's the endosteum naman. Okay? And then usually, normally you see holes, no? So small holes are, in this case, no, this hole is called the nutrient foramen. Okay, so from the term nutrient, no, foramen means a hole. So it's a hole, okay, to which the, okay, blood vessels, lymphatic vessels, nerves enter the bone. That's why the bone is a very, very dynamic tissue. Okay, so that if you would be asked to compare the recovery or the healing rate of a damaged cartilage and a fractured bone, okay? So if you would be asked, no, which would be faster, the healing of a fractured bone or the healing of a, for example, cut cartilage? No, like for example, in piercings, no? So healing is faster, no, in a fractured bone because the bone is highly vascular, no? It has a lot of blood supply, and of course the cells can get their nourishment, no? They can go about their metabolism, where as compared to a cartilage, no, because of course na we have the ears, no, the nose, they are made up of cartilage, right? So cartilages are said to be avascular. That's why healing is very, very slow, no? And I think, no, for those who have nose piercings and ear piercings, especially at the region of the helix, no, it would really take a minimum of siguro a year, no, for the hole to completely heal. Okay? So ayan, no? And then I think we have another part. You have here the articular cartilage. So the articular cartilage, okay, is actually ito, the blue one din, no? Okay, so that's the cartilage that, kaya nga articular, it actually, that part no actually forms a joint, no, together with another bone. Okay? So these are the parts of a long bone. Now, we have again the classification as to the types of skeleton. So we have the exoskeleton, okay, or the dermal skeleton. And then we have the endoskeleton. Okay? So in invertebrates, okay, I think we have already mentioned this when we discussed the integumentary system. Okay? So they have their covering, right? So eto, like for example, you have here a beetle, you have a cicada, yan, no? So they are provided with an exoskeleton. Okay, an exoskeleton, that's actually their integument or their covering because you don't expect to see bones, right, inside their bodies. no? Wala silang mga buto. So since they don't have bones, no, and sabi natin, no, the bones are important in providing a very, very stable framework. So their bodies are being protected by an exoskeleton. Okay? And what's an advantage of the exoskeleton? The exoskeleton actually limits the growth of organisms. That's why, no, when they undergo their development, no, when they increase in size or when they grow, they have to shed their exoskeleton. So you have the process termed ecdysis. So ecdysis is the technical term for the shedding of the exoskeleton or molting. Okay? So like for example, try to compare the cicada. Okay? So the newly molted cicada, try to compare its size no with its exoskeleton. So it became a lot bigger, right? No, compared to its exoskeleton. Okay? So they would have to go through that, no? So when they grow, they have to shed their exoskeleton. Okay? Whereas, no, in other higher organisms, no, in higher animals, like for example, in humans, so we have our endoskeleton, di ba? So no one here is running around carrying his or her exoskeleton, right? Wala, endoskeleton. Kasi our skeleton, of course, are found within the body. Okay? Serving as a very rigid framework, no? We have discussed that earlier. And one advantage of having an endoskeleton is that, of course, the bones, they grow, no? They grow together with the rest of the body. We don't have to shed our exoskeleton. We don't have to shed our skeleton for us to grow. Okay? Okay, now we go to the divisions of the skeletal system, and we said that we are going to focus on the human skeletal system. No? Now, in terms of division, we have two divisions. Now, we have the axial and the appendicular. Okay? So, when we say axial, so the skeleton no, or the bones, they form the main axis of the body. Okay? So, ito yon. Oh, ayun na naman siya. Yan, no? Okay. So, ayan. Dito nga ako mag-start yan, no? So, they form the, okay, main axis of the body. Okay? So, the actual division, okay, includes, of course, we have the skull, and then we have the vertebrae, or the backbone. Okay, and then we have here the ribs. Okay, then we have the hyoid apparatus. So, yan, no? Lahat yun kasama. Okay? And when we say appendicular naman, of course, they form the appendages. Okay? The appendages and the limbs. So, we have here the, ito, shoulder girdle. And then we have here the, yan, forelimbed. And then we have here the, okay, ayan, pelvic girdle. And then we have the hind limb together with all the bones. Okay? So axial and the appendicular. So let's discuss them one by one. Okay, so we have the among the axial bones, so we have the 8 cranial bones. So from the term, they form the brain case or the cranium. Okay? And there are 1, 2, okay, nasaan na yung isa? Ayan, no? So there are 2 paired bones. So you have the parietal and the temporal, and then the rest are unpaired. Sabihin walang partner, no? So you have the frontal bone, the sphenoid bone, the ethmoid, tapos you have the occipital bone. So let's discuss them one by one, no? So let's try first the ethmoid bone. Ito, this one, no? So the ethmoid bone is said to be the smallest cranial bone. No, and the ethmoid bone forms part of the orbit of the eye. Okay? And then the blue one This is the frontal bone, again unpaired. So it forms the forehead. Okay? And then the other one, we have the occipital bone. Ito yung yellow naman. So the occipital bone, okay, forms the posterior part of the brain case. Okay? And looking at the occipital bone, you're going to see here, let's try to have another view. Ito. No, it has the foramen magnum. So again, when we say foramen, it means a hole. Okay, magnum, it means large. So it's a large hole. Okay, and this now, of course, indicates the junction between the skull and the vertebral column. Okay, it also indicates the junction between the brain and the spinal cord. Okay, and then going back, okay, so unpaired yon. And then we have okay, sphenoid bone, kulay green. So the sphenoid bone is regarded as the keystone of the cranial floor. Okay, and when we say keystone, now we mean that all the other cranial bones are attached to the sphenoid. So it's a very important supporting structure, no? So you'd see here that the ethmoid is attached to it, no? The frontal is attached to it. The parietal and the temporal bones, they're also attached together with the occipital bone. Okay, so this is the ventral view. No, the green one, that's the sphenoid bone. So you can see the attachment. Okay, it's attached to the temporal, it's attached to the occipital, it's attached to the parietal bones, no? And all other cranial bones. Yan. Now, for the two paired bones, so we have here the parietal bones. So they form the lateral, no, the roof, no? Okay, the roof of the brain case. Okay? So paired kasi right and left yan. So ito, no? So ito. Tsaka yun. So dalawa. And then we have here the purple one. You have the temporal bone. So the temporal bones, they actually form the lateral part. Now, when you say lateral and inferior, no? Lateral meaning side, inferior meaning the lower part of the cranial floor. Okay? So again, we have two. So ito, no? So temporal. And looking at the temporal bone, you have there an external auditory meatus. Okay? So a meatus is also an opening, no? Which leads to a canal. So ayan, no? So it leads into the ear canal, okay, where you can actually see the auditory ossicles, because the auditory ossicles are still no part of the axial division. Okay, so those are the 8 cranial bones. So we have 1, 2, okay, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8. Okay. Okay, and then we have here the 14 facial bones. Okay, so the 14 facial bones are very important because they provide spaces or spaces or sockets, no, for the sense organs, diba? We have here the sense of sight or vision, you have the sense of smell, and then you have here the you have the sense of taste. No, it also provides support for the opening of the gut. No, and the bones here are also very important as levers for the attachment of muscles, usually for facial expression. Okay, so yeah, no. So again, we have the paired bones. Okay, the ones with the enclosed with the red rectangles, and then we have the blue ones, they are the unpaired bones. Okay? So meron pang sa next slide mamaya, no? So first we have here the nasal bones. Ito. So again, paired. So the nasal bones, they form, of course, the roof of the nasal cavity. Okay? And then we have here the lacrimal bones, yung purple, ito, tsaka ito. Okay, so the lacrimal bones are the smallest facial bones. And they are called as such, no, because of its proximity, no, because it contains the opening of the lacrimal gland. So dito lumalabas yung tears o yung luha, 'di ba? The lacrimal glands or the tear glands. Okay? And the lacrimal bones, they form part of the medial wall of the orbit. Okay? And then we have, okay, the zygomatic bones. Ito, the pink ones. So the zygomatic bones are the cheekbones. No, they form the prominence of the cheek. And when you apply makeup, no, the tendency for you is to smile and then put the blush, no, on the cheekbone to highlight the cheekbone area. Okay. And then we have the maxilla. So plural, maxillae. Maxilla isa, maxillae dalawa. So you have two. So the maxillae, no, they form the upper jaw, and of course they have sockets, okay, for the insertion of the teeth. Okay, and then we have the inferior nasal concha singular, okay, concave plural. So ito yon, tsaka ito. So they form the lateral aspect of the nasal cavity. Okay? And then ito, yung vomer for the unpaired, no? So we have here the vomer. So the vomer forms part of the nasal septum. Okay, so that's the partition of the nasal cavity. Okay, so that you have here two chambers. Okay, and then now the mandible. So the mandible is the largest of all the facial bones. And the mandible is the only movable facial bone. Okay? It articulates with the, ito, it articulates with the temporal bone. So ito yung attachment. No? Tapos ito yung mandible. Okay? So again, the mandible is the only movable facial bone. Okay? And then ito, you can see here the mental foramen. Again, a foramen means a hole. So menta, no? Menta pertains to chin. Okay? So if you're going to count that, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, and then 12. Okay, so where are the other two bones? So you can see them underneath. So you have here ito, no? The palatine bones. So again, 2. So the palatine bones, they form part of the posterior part of the hard palate. Okay, yung ating ngala-ngala, no? So yan. So palatine bones. Okay? So yan. So you try to remember the bones because when you study the frog skeleton, no, you would see that the frogs, no, frogs and humans, no, they really have similar names, no, for the different skeletons. So, like for example, in the frog, when you say radioulna, so the radius and the ulna, so they are the bones of the forelimbs. No, they are bones of the forearm. No, they are fused to become one. So in humans, they're separated. Okay, so yun, na. Okay, now another actual bone, that's the hyoid. Okay, ito, the hyoid bone, no? So the hyoid bone is located superior or above the larynx or the voice box. So if you're listening now, you can palpate your voice box, yung Adam's apple. Okay, and then above that, that's the location of the hyoid bone. No? And as you can see, the hyoid bone is the only bone which is not articulated or which does not, when you say articulation, no, it forms a communication or a bone communicates with another bone. So in this case, no, it's the only bone that is not articulated with any other bone. Okay, so it's attached to the mastoid process of the temporal bone by means of muscles and ligaments. So, going back, ito. So, ito yung here, mas kita. Ito. That's the mastoid, no? Mastoid process of the temporal bone. Yan. So, yan. So, the hyoid is attached here by means of muscles and ligaments. Okay? And the hyoid bone, of course, supports the tongue. No? It supports the tongue. And it also supports other muscles which are uh, which contract, no, to promote swallowing or deglutition. Okay? That's why in some of the movies, when a person is hanged, no, or when a person commits suicide, so usually the tongue actually goes out, no, because the connection is severed, no, or because the hyoid apparatus or the hyoid bone is damaged. Okay? So, ayan, no? And then, okay, so we have here the auditory ossicles or the ear bones. So, we have 6. Okay, so 3 in each ear. So, ito yon. So, these are the 3 bones. So, we have here the malleus. Ito. Okay, and then we have the incus. Ito. Okay, and then we have here the stapes. Ito. Okay? So, yan, no? And they are very important not only in supporting because not all bones are for ano ba, no, access a framework. In this particular case, these 3 auditory ossicles are very important, no, for us to hear because they are the ones transmitting the vibrations coming from the tympanic membrane going to the inner ear, no, where sound is when the ano ba, message or the sensation is conveyed by the cochlear nerve. Okay? So we can interpret the sound that we are hearing. Okay? So again, there are 3 in each ear. So we have 6 auditory ossicles because later we're going to count the number of bones. Okay, and then we have here the vertebrae. So the vertebrae, so ito, or our backbone. Okay, kaya nga, no, animals with backbone are called vertebrates. And animals without backbone are called invertebrates, no, because of the presence of the vertebrae. Okay? So we have here the vertebral column. And the vertebral column or the backbone is made up of yan, bones. And we call each bone a vertebra. Okay? Plural, we have vertebrae. Okay? And if you're going to count, there are 26, 26 separate vertebrae. Okay? So let's start with the cervical, no? It's divided, the backbone is divided into 5 regions. We have the cervical or the neck vertebrae. We have the thoracic or the chest vertebrae. So you have here the back view and the front view pala to, anterior view, no? And then you have here the lateral view or the side view, okay? And then ito, we have the 5 lumbar vertebrae. And then we have here the, okay, sacrum. So the sacrum is made up of 5 fused bones. And then we have here the coccyx, which is made up of 4 fused bones, okay? So if you're going to count, so we have here 7. Okay, so 7 cervical. Okay, plus 12 thoracic. Okay, plus 5 lumbar, plus 1 sacrum, plus 1 coccyx. Okay, so you have 12 plus 17 is 19. Okay, 20, 21, 26. That's why we have 26 separate vertebrae. Okay? But ito, these 2, yung the sacrum, ito, sacrum and the coccyx, no, they are made up of 5 and 4 fused vertebrae respectively. Okay? So let's discuss them again by set, na? So we have here the cervical vertebrae. We are denoting that as C1 to C7. C for cervical. Cervical meaning neck. Na? So the first cervical vertebra is termed the atlas. Ito. Yan na. And it has the surface, no? Ito, the blue one represents maybe it's covered with hyaline cartilage, no? So this is the one, these are the surfaces, no, that articulate with the occipital condyles of course, occipital bone. So ito, yun. Okay, so these occipital condyles, okay, they now articulate with the surfaces here. So yan. So you would imagine that the skull is here. Okay? And then the second cervical vertebra, let's utilize another color, no? So ito yung second. Yan. Okay? So that's the axis. Okay? And the axis has ito a dense or okay, we call that dense or ito. Okay, dense or odontoid. Okay, odontoid process. Okay? And the odontoid process actually forms a joint, okay, together with the atlas, okay, forming the pivot or the trochoid joint. So later, we're going to discuss that, no? Okay, and then we have C3 to C7. So C7, take note, has ito, another protrusion. So we call that ayun, no? The vertebra prominence. Okay? That's why you can actually tell the end of your neck, no? If you're going to palpate or if you're going to touch your nape, no? Yung inyong likod ng leeg. Okay, tapos you would palpate there a hump. Okay, that's ito. That's the vertebra prominence. No, and that indicates the end of your neck. And below that, that's already part of the rib cage. Okay? So ayan, no? So we have the cervical vertebrae. Okay, so next we have here the thoracic. So we have from T1 to T12. Okay? So they form the vertebrae of the chest part or of the rib cage. No? As you can see here, again, surfaces, okay, for articulation with the ribs. Okay? So, sorry. Ito sila. Ayun, nasa likod. No? So, you have here the posterior part. So, actually, ito yung mga yon. Ito, yung mga yan, no? Tapos yung ribs andito. Yan. Pag ganyan. Hindi. Isa lang pala yon dito. Okay? So, anyway. No? So, we have here the thoracic vertebrae. Again, we have 12. Okay, and then we have ito, lumbar vertebrae. So, we have L1. No? L1 to L5. And the lumbar vertebrae are the largest and the strongest of all the vertebrae, no? So lumbar meaning lower back, okay? Of course, no, they would have to be very strong because they support the weight of the torso, okay, or the upper part of the body, okay? And then, okay, in terms of curvature, okay, so normally, no, ayan. So we have here the normal curvature. So the vertebral column is not really straight, no, but it has curvatures. Right? And halimbawa, you have here the cervical curvature, you have here the thoracic curvature, you have the lumbar curvature, and then we have here the sacral curvature. Okay? But sometimes, no, some people can experience abnormal curvatures of the spine. Okay, we have here 3 examples. So you are very familiar with the scoliosis or the bent back. So you have here, ito, no, an exaggeration, a lateral, when you say lateral side, no, a lateral exaggeration of the thoracic curvature. That's why it's called bent back. Okay. Another is the kyphosis or the hunchback. So again, you have here, no, an exaggeration of the thoracic curvature, okay, towards the anterior part of the body. Okay? So ito yung mga kuba. Tapos yun namang lordosis o yung sway back, you have the exaggeration naman of the lumbar curvature. Okay? Ito yung mga naka-liad. Na? That's why also, when you say, just for you to imagine sway back, no, you know pregnant women, diba? Nakahiyad or nakaliyad silang ganinan because of, again, the abdomen is heavy, no, because of the growing fetus. That's why also, gestating women, they usually feel back pain, yung lower back pain, no, because of, again, the weight of the increasing weight of the abdomen because of the developing gap. Okay? And the abnormal curves, no, can be caused by can have many causes or can be due to many causes. So they may be congenital, no? So since birth, andyan na sila, or they may be because of improper posture, no? But very, very seldom naman yun. But yeah, no? Some causes can include, of course, na bone diseases. Okay? So ayan, no? So ito pa, just to again compare, you have the normal and then the one with the scoliosis. Again, you have an exaggeration of the lateral, no? Yan, lateral exaggeration of the thoracic curve. Okay? Again, side view or lateral view. So one with kyphosis or the hunchback, then one with the lordosis or the sway back naman. You have an exaggeration of the lumbar curvature naman. Okay? Okay, so now we go to the fused bones. So we have here the sacrum. Okay, and then we have here the coccyx. So the sacrum is made up of 5 fused bones. So we have S1 to S5. Okay? And coccyx, now it's our tailbone. So it's made up naman of 4 fused bones. So you have coccygeal 1 to coccygeal 4. Again, no, they are fused to form the coccyx or our primitive tailbone. That's why in the course of evolution, no, they say that we evolved from lower forms of animals, no, with tails, because again, we have our primitive tail. Okay? So yeah, na. So if you're going to count again, you have 7 cervical, you have 12 thoracic, you have 5 lumbar, you have 1 sacrum, and then you have 1 coccyx. So all in all, we have 26 separate vertebrae. Okay? Okay, so last part of the axial division, we have the rib cage. Okay, so the rib cage is, of course, made up of the sternum. Okay, the sternum or the breastbone, which has 3 parts. No? So you have here, the first part is the manubrium, but they are fused, no? Manubrium. Okay, and then we have here the body. Okay, and then we have here the xiphoid process or the ensiform process. Okay? But they are again fused to become one bone. So ang bilang dyan, isa lang. Okay? And the sternum is the attachment, no, for the ribs. So ayan. So in terms of ribs, we have 12 pairs. Okay, so we have 12 pairs of ribs. Among the 12 pairs, we have 7 pairs of true ribs. Then we have 3 pairs of false ribs. And then we have 2 pairs of floating ribs. Okay? So why are they called true ribs? So ito, yung pair number 1 hanggang pair number 7. No? They are called true ribs because they are directly attached to the sternum by means of the costal cartilages. Okay? So again, costa meaning rib. Okay? That's why, again, they are considered true ribs. And then the 3 pairs, yung pairs 8, 9, and 10, they are called the false ribs because they are indirectly attached to the sternum. So they utilize the costal cartilage of the 7th pair. Okay? Kumbaga nakikidikit lang, nakikikabit lang sila. And then ito, yung dalawa sa likod, ito, pairs 11 and 12, they are the floating ribs because they are not attached to the sternum anteriorly. They are only attached to the thoracic vertebrae posteriorly. Okay? And sabi natin, no, the rib cage is very, very important in protecting the internal organs. Especially, you have here the lungs, and then you have here the, eto dito, yung heart. Left side ang heart eh. And sabi, the apex of the heart, ano ka i-drawing yun? Kunwari ganyan. The apex of the heart, okay, is found, yan, no? Okay, ito yung apex, yung pinakadulo, no? So it's found between the 5th and the 6th true rib. Okay? That's why when you auscultate or when you try to hear the sound, yun, you try to discern the location of the 5th and the 6th pair of ribs. Tapos andun sa gitna nilang dalawa. No? And ito, as you can see, again, no, these are bones. They are hard. Diba? Ito, this is also a bone. But again, the ribs are connected to the rib cage, connected to the sternum rather, by means of, again, hyaline cartilages. And they are flexible yet very, very strong and very, very tough. No? So that when we inhale, when the thoracic cavity expands, no? So the lungs can expand also, right? So that's the importance of having cartilages, no, in order to permit expansion, in order to accommodate the enlarging lungs during inhalation. Okay? So, ayan, no? Another thing pala, yung ensiform or the xiphoid process, it's also made up of cartilage. And it's a very important landmark in CPR or yung cardiopulmonary resuscitation. No? So, usually, you palpate the ensiform process. Okay, and then you start pumping above it. Okay, not pagkapa ng xiphoid ay pump agad, hindi. So itataas. Kasi nga, this is made up of cartilage, no? Wrong placement of the hands during CPR can actually dislocate this, and this may lodge inside the abdominal area, and that's more trouble, no, for the person. Okay? So yun. So that would be for the rib cage. Okay? So I guess we are already finished with the axial pa lang yun, no? Axial skeleton pa lang. Now we go to the appendicular skeleton. So again, the appendicular skeleton is made up of the girdles. Okay, girdles. We have the shoulder, no? Shoulder girdle, and the pelvic girdle. Tapos we have here the limbs. Okay, so we have here the entire forelimb. Okay, and the hind limb. Okay, so again, we discussed them one by one. Huh? This was misplaced. So dapat ito pa pala muna no, before the, tama pala. Okay. So we have here the shoulder girdle or the pectoral. No? Pectoral girdle or the shoulder girdle, which is made up of the collarbone or the clavicle. Okay, and then we have here the sa likod, the shoulder blade or the scapula. Okay? May ibang view pa ba? Ito. Okay, so you have here the shoulder blade or the scapula. Okay, so we have the posterior view or the back view, no? So okay, in terms of articulation, okay, the forelimb, okay, only articulates with the or is only supported or is attached to the body, okay, by means of the clavicle. So ito, no? Okay, and the clavicle is attached to to the lateral side of the manubrium. Yan, no? So, and that's the only articulation, no, of the entire girdle and the forelimb to the trunk. Ito lang, itong part na to lang, no? That's why when, for example, when a person experiences a hard blow, like for example, no, if he or she would fall off a horse, no, during ano ba, horseback riding or no, falling or engaging in a, for example, motor vehicular accident or having a great fall. So usually the collarbone no easily breaks or get fractured. Okay? And of course, now this now severes now the attachment of the entire forelimb to the body. Okay? So yeah, so we have to be careful of this, no? And then the scapula, so yun. So the scapula is not really attached to any bone, no? Because it's only supported by, ayan, muscles and ligaments. Okay? Okay, so that would be for the pectoral girdle, no? Now for the forelimb or the upper limb, ito. So another view of this, the clavicle or the collarbone and the scapula or the shoulder blade, no? Now for the bones of the forelimb or the upper limb, so we have here the bones of the upper arm, that's the humerus, and then bones of the forearm. So you have the radius and the ulna. So how would you now determine the medial bone and the lateral bone, no? So we have terms medial and lateral. So when we say again lateral, it pertains to the side, and medial, no, medial means the part that is closer to the midline, okay? And lateral is the part no, farther from the midline, okay? Because in anatomy, we are using different descriptive terms. Now, like you have anterior, posterior, superior, inferior. Like in this case, you have lateral, medial, no? And before we utilize these terms, we have to note that the subject is in its normal anatomical position. Like for example, in humans, before we can utilize these terms, the human should be in its proper anatomical position. And for you to visualize that, now try to think of the oblation in UP. So that's the proper anatomical position. No? So the subject is standing erect. The feet are flat on the floor. The body is facing forward. Okay, the arms are at the sides and the palms are facing forward. Okay, so that's the proper anatomical position. So if you will be asked, sige, while discussing, try to imagine your forelimb, no? So try to be in that anatomical position like oblation in UP. Okay, so which is the bone? Okay, that is nearer your midline. Okay, so mas malapit siya sa gitna, no? So that bone is eto, that's your ulna. So if you can palpate your elbow, diba? So that's actually itong part na yun sa likod. Okay? So yun, no? So that's the medial bone. So it means that's the one. Ito nga, katulad dito, you have here the scapula. So you would expect andito yung katawan, diba? So the ulna is the one nearer the midline. That's why it's the medial bone. And the radius is the one, it's the lateral bone because it's farther from the midline. Okay? So the radius is aligned to your thumb. So ayan, no? So kung nalilito kayo kung ano yung radius tsaka yung ulna nyo, no? If you're confused whether, if you're confused, no, of the location of your radius and the ulna. So if you have your thumb side, so that's your radius. And if you have your pinky finger side, so that's your ulna. Okay? So yun, ano? And we have here the region of the hand, no? Okay, so we call the hand the manus. Okay, so it's made up of the wrist bones. Okay, you have here the carpals. Okay, ito. Okay, so we have 8 carpal bones. Okay, in your anatomy, you're going to memorize the names of these 8 carpal bones, no? And then you have the 5 metacarpals, or the bones of the palm. Okay, and of course, you have here the bones of the digits. Okay, or the finger. So you have here the phalanges, no? So each digit, no, has a proximal, no, middle, and a distal phalanx. So singular for phalanges is phalanx. Okay, so this is one phalanx, another phalanx, that's the middle phalanx, this is the distal phalanx. So again, you have your terms proximal and distal. So when you say proximal, okay, the bone is nearer the point of attachment. So kung ito siya, na ito, okay, so this is the proximal, middle, and then distal, no? So again, when you say proximal, the part is nearer the point of attachment of the limb to the trunk. Mas malapit siya. So it's nearer. That's why it's called proximal. When you say distal, it's farther, no? It's farther from the point of origin. Okay, in that case, that's the joint here. That's the shoulder joint. Okay? Okay, so going back, so again, each finger or each digit has 3 phalanges except for the thumb, no? Because the thumb only has 2 phalanges, okay? So that if you're going to count the number, so the digital formula is 2, okay, 3, 3, 3, and 3. So you have 2 phalanges, you have 3, you have 3, 3, 3, no? So 3, 6, 9, 12. So we have 14, no, phalanges per manus or per hand. So times 2, because we have 2 hands, so we have 28 phalanges. Okay? And yun nga, no, technically, no, the term for the hand is the manus. That's why we have terms such as mano-mano. Pag mano-mano, it means manual, di ba? Manual, you have to do it on your own. Halimbawa, you have manicure, no? So manicure is cleaning the nails, no? The fingernails. So hindi pwedeng pa-manicure nga po sa paa. Ang tawag doon pedicure, no? Kaya mano-mano, 'di ba? Sabihin you're using your hand, no? So ayan. And the technical term for the thumb naman, ito. The technical term for the thumb is the pollex. Okay? That's why when we have a poll, okay, there is a survey, no? And usually during the poll time, there is an election. And you are utilizing thumb, diba? In placing your fingerprint, no? Because yun nga, ang pollex, ang technical term for the pollex is the thumb. Okay? So we have here the pelvic girdle naman. So the pelvic girdle, ito yon. Yan, no? Yan. So the pelvic girdle is made up of the hip bones or the coxae. Okay, hip bone or coxa, singular. So we have here one hip bone, ito. Yan, isang hip bone. Ito yung isang hip bone. Okay? So, they form the pelvic girdle together with the sacrum. So, ito yung sacrum. Okay? And if you're going to dissect one pelvic bone or one hip bone, it's made up of 3 fused bones pa. Okay? So, ito, the largest is the ilium. Ito yon. So, take note of its spelling. It's I-L-I-U-M. Because we have another ilium. That's I-L-E-U-M. And that's part of the large intestine. Small intestine. Okay? You have the duodenum, the jejunum, and the ileum. No? So, again, take note of the spelling. No? And then, the anterior bone, the red one, okay, that's the pubis. Kaya ito, we have the pubic symphysis. Kaya ito yung dito, yung pubic area, di ba? Tapos the purple one, okay, that's the posterior one, siya yung nasa likod. Okay, that's the ischium. So you have ilium, ischium, and then pubis. Okay, ilium, ischium, and then pubis. Ito din, no? So you have ilium, and then ischium, and then pubis. Ito yung may pubic symphysis, anterior part, no? So they are fused. Okay, they are fused. So ito yung ilium, ito yung ischium, ito yung pubis. They are fused, no, to form a cup-shaped cavity called the acetabular fossa or the acetabulum. And this acetabulum or acetabular fossa receives the head of receives the head of the femur and also forms a joint. Okay? So, yan. Okay, and one trivia, when we sit, okay, we don't actually feel the coccyx or our primitive tail, okay, but we feel ito, part of the ischium. So, ang tawag dito ay, okay, ischial tuberosity. Okay, so that's the structure, no, that we are feeling when we are sitting, no, on the lap of another person, especially if the person sitting is very, very thin. So parang sinasabi niya, parang nanunusok yung puwet niya, no? Kasi ito yung part na yon, yung ischial tuberosity. Okay? Not the coccyx. Okay, now how do you now differentiate the pelvic area of the male and the female? Usually in forensics, no, they can identify whether the skeleton belongs to a male or a female by looking at the structure of the pelvic bones, no? So let's try to see the anatomy muna, na before the differences, okay? So we have here the pelvic brim. This is the pelvic inlet. So yan. Tapos you have here the pubic arch. And then going forward, ito, we have here the top view. Ito, superior view or the top view. So ito yung pelvic brim or the pelvic inlet. Okay, so lateral view, ito siya, yun. Okay, pelvic inlet. And then yung sa baba, yan. So that's the pelvic outlet. Ito naman siya, pelvic outlet. Okay. Ito, inferior view, yung sa likod, no? Ito na yung pelvic outlet. Okay? Now, let's try to see the differences, no? Between the male and the female pelvis. So, the pelvic inlet, ito ulit, yan. Okay? So, the pelvic inlet in female is said to be wider, no? Okay, it's oval and it's wider. Okay, in males, it's heart-shaped and it's narrower. Okay, in terms of the pelvic outlet, ulit ito yung pelvic outlet. Okay, so in female, it's again broad. Okay, in males, it's narrow. Okay, yung pelvic cavity naman, that's the entire pelvic cavity. So ito, yan. Okay? So the pelvic cavity in female is, okay, wide but shallow. Okay, in males, no, it's narrower. Okay, but it's deeper. Okay, and in terms of the pubic arch, ito ulit yon. Yan, pubic arch. Okay, so for women, it has around 80 to 90 degrees angle. And for the male, we have around 50 to 60 degrees, no, in terms of angle. That's why if you are going to look at the anatomy of the female pelvis, no, it's really adapted for giving birth. Diba? Kaya makakadaan yung baby dyan. Malalaking dimensions niya. Tapos yung kanyang pelvic cavity, mababaw lang. No? So ito na yung daanan ng baby during delivery. Okay? So, ayan. So, in this case, ito, kaya no, it says here that this is the pelvis of a female and this is the pelvis of a male. Okay, you can see the arch. Now, you can see the pelvic inlet. Now, pelvic inlet. Tapos, ito yung pelvic cavity. Medyo mas malalim. Mas makipot. Ang pelvic cavity ng babae, mas mababaw lang, mas malapad. Okay? So, ayan. Okay, now we have bones of the lower limb. So, we have here ito. So, we have here the longest, the heaviest, and the strongest bone of the body. So, that's the thigh bone. So, we have here the femur. Ito, no? Walang label. Ito. So, that's the femur. Okay? So, the femur is provided with a head. And sabi natin, the head of the femur articulates with the acetabular fossa of the pelvis, forming a joint. So later we're going to discuss also. No? And then we have the bones of the shank. So we have regions, we have the thigh, we have the shank, and technically the foot is called the pes. No? So we have here the thigh, tapos we have here the shank, or the lower leg, tapos we have here the pes, or the foot. No? Now, in terms of muscles of the shank, so again, the medial bone of the shank, no, that's the one nearer the midline. Ito yung midline, diba? Okay, so the bone that is nearer the midline, that's the tibia. And the lateral bone of the shank, that's the one farther from the midline. Okay, that's the fibula. So the tibia and the fibula. Okay? So for you to easily recall, pwedeng tibia, tava, and fibula, fayat. No? The tava and the fayat. Of course, in the exam, you cannot answer that, ha? So in the front naman, no, you can see that the bone of the shank is the tibiofibula. Okay, because these two bones are fused in the frog. Like in the forearm, di ba, we have the radius and the ulna. Sa kanila, you call the bone the radioulna because of the fusion of the radius and the ulna. Okay? Now we have the pes. Ito. Okay? So you have here the tibia and the fibula. Tapos you have here the pes or the foot. No, that's why we are using pedicab. Diba? We have pedal. Okay, we have pedicure. No? Hindi pa-manicure nga po sa paa. So pedicure 'yan, no? So what are the parts of the foot? Of course, you have here the ankle. Ito. So the ankle is made up of the tarsal bones. So we have 7 tarsal bones. Diba? We have 8 carpals, we have 7 tarsals, no? Tapos we have here the bones of the sole. So we have the metatarsal. So we again have 5. No, each metatarsal supporting a toe, no, or a digit. Yung tarsals, no, they form the ankle. The tarsal bones are the ankle bones. Okay? The sole bones are the metatarsals. And of course, we have here the phalanges. Again, the phalanges are similar to the phalanges of the fingers of the manus. No? So, each toe has again the proximal, the middle, and the distal phalanges, no, except for the big toe, okay, which again has 2, no? So, ganun pa rin. So, 3, 3, 3, 3, and 2. So, 14 pa rin. So, 14 times 2 is 28 pa rin. Okay? And technically, okay, the big toe is called the hallux. That's why in your laboratory, no, merong sa palaka, meron pa siya ditong extra digit eh. Meron pa siyang pre-hallux. No, sa palaka to ha, pre-hallux. Okay? Because it comes before the hallux or the toe. Okay? So yan ano. Okay. So I think that ends the discussion of the divisions. And in terms of number, so if you're going to total all the axial bones, we have 80, and all the appendicular bones together with ito yung kneecaps or the patellae. So patella singular, patellae plural. So there are 126 bones of the appendicular division. So all in all, we have 206 bones, no? So an adult human, no, has 206 bones. Okay? Okay, so second to the last topic. So we have classification of bone according to shape. Madali lang to, no? So we have the long bones. So very, very self-explanatory because the bones are long, no? Yeah, so most of the bones of the forelimbs and the hind limbs are long bones. Okay? And then we have the short bones. Usually they are cuboid in shape. So you have here the carpals, and then we have here the tarsals. So again, in terms of number, we have 8 carpals and we have 7 tarsals. Okay? And then we have the flat bones. So you have the cranial bones, you have the sternum, you have the scapula, no? Scapulae plural, and then we have the ribs, no? And then we have here irregular bones. So we have the facial bones, we have here the coccyx, no? Very irregular naman talaga sila. At ito, yung vertebrae, very, very irregular, no? Yung mga bones of the vertebral column. Okay, and then we have sesamoid bones. So sesamoid bones are small, circular bones. Usually, no, they are found in areas near joints, no, in order to lessen the pressure in joints. Okay? So the patella or the kneecaps. Tapos we have also sesamoid bones associated with our metatarsal. So again, it says here that the sesamoid bones, they reduce friction, no, on the tendon, preventing excess wear. Okay? Excess wear and tear. Okay? Okay, so last topic, we have the joints. So we said that a joint is an articulation or communication usually between two bones. Okay? And there are 3 types of joints depending on the degree. No? It says here, depending on the degree, no, or the amount of movement that is permitted at a particular joint. Okay? So we have here the immovable joints. Because when you say syn, it means together. And arthro, okay, arthro meaning joint. So ibig sabihin, the articulating bones are really attached to one another. That's why no movement is permitted at that particular joint. Okay? Now, there are those joints which are slightly movable. So amphi meaning dual, again joint, no? Arthro meaning joint. So there is somehow a space and more connective tissue between the articulating bones, thus permitting a slight degree of movement. Okay? And then we have the diarthrosis. Di meaning two. Okay, arthro meaning joint. So it means that the articulating bones are really separated from one another. So there is a bigger space. That's why larger movement is permitted at joints. Okay? So immovable joints, slightly movable joints, and freely movable joints. So let's have examples, no? So there are three examples of synarthrosis, again, plural with an E, no? Synarthrosis. So first we have a suture. So it says here, a suture is made up of, a fibrous connective tissue, okay, that is present in between the articulating bones. Like for example, di ba, we have here the parietal. We have here the left parietal and the right parietal. So ito yung suture nila. Usually the sutures, they also indicate the boundaries no? So it's made up of a fibrous connective tissue which really attaches, or joint rather, no, which really attaches the articulating bones, okay, and no movement is permitted, diba? It's an example of an immovable joint. Imagine if the sutures are slightly movable. So one blow to the head and the skull cracks open, no? And that should not be the case because it's protecting our brain. Okay? So another type, ito, is agomphosis. Okay? So it says here that agomphosis is again a fibrous joint, no? It's a fibrous joint in which a peg-like process of a bone, no, 'di ba ang ngipin para siyang peg, no? Fits into a cavity of another bone. In here, we have the cavity or cavities of the maxillae, 'di ba? Okay, to which the teeth are inserted. So ito yung mismong joint. Yan, ang joint, no? Again, the gomphosis is immovable. Diba? How would you expect to eat or to do anything if the teeth are moving? Diba? So yan. Another joint, we have mentioned this earlier, is the synchondrosis. Again, syn together, cartilage. No? So this is the metaphysis. Remember kanina yung epiphyseal plate cartilage? So yan, that's an example of a joint connecting the epiphysis and the diaphysis of the bone. Okay? So it says here that kaya nga synchondrosis na because the joint is made up of hyaline cartilage. Okay, which is again the site of ossification in an endochondral bone. Okay? Now for the slightly movable joints, so we have here the syndesmosis. Okay? A syndesmosis is characterized to have more fibrous connective tissue compared to a suture. Okay, that's why a slight degree of movement is permitted at that joint. No? So you have here the syndesmosis as at the distal articulation of the tibia and the fibula. Remember the tava and the fayat, no? That's why slight movement is permitted. Okay? And then ito, we have the symphysis. So example, you have the intervertebral disc. Okay, vertebral disc. So ito, it's made up of fibrous ulit, no? Ayan, no? Fibrocartilage. I think we have mentioned this when we discussed the fibrocartilage. Tapos ito din yung pubic symphysis. Okay, it's made up of fibrocartilage. That's why we said that we can move freely without damaging our backbone. Okay, because the backbone also bends, no? as we bend, diba? It's also flexible as we move. And also the pubic symphysis. And during gestation, during delivery of the baby, no, another reason for not really easy delivery, no, is another reason why the pelvic inlet increases in size is that this becomes highly flexible during delivery, so that the pelvic inlet or the pelvic brim, no, slightly again increases in size to accommodate the passing child going to the outside during delivery. Okay? Okay, now for the diarthrosis naman, the freely movable joints. Ito, you have here two articulating bones already. Tapos you have here uh, space, no? Compared to the synarthrosis and the ambiarthrosis, no, the bones are really somehow really joined together. Ito, meron silang synovial cavity. Sample natin. Ito, katulad niyan, no? Itong kanina. Ito. So, meron siyang, okay, synovial cavity, that's the space. Okay, filled with synovial fluid, yung joint fluid. So, I think to, no? Tapos you have here the articulating bones. They are really separated. Okay, tapos you have a larger space. That's why, again, this type of joint permits movement. Okay? So, example of a freely movable joint, we have a pivot or a trochoid joint. No? It happens, okay, when a cylindrical surface of one bone rotates, no, into a ring of fibrous tissue or bone. Okay? Like in the case of, ito yung radius, diba? Tapos ito yung ulna. That's why when we turn our palm downward or upward, diba? It's the radius that rotates. So this is the ring of fibrous tissue, yung annular ligament na yan. Okay? Another example, remember the dens and the odontoid process? Kanina, yung sa online pala. No? Teka lang. Ito, di ba? So, ito yung atlas, yung first, ito yung axis, yung second, meron siyang dens or odontoid process. And ito, this articulates with the skull. Okay? So, ito yun. This is the joint. No? So, again, when a cylindrical process of one bone no, rotates, in this case, a ring of bone. That's the atlas. Okay? Okay, so that the joint is freely movable. No? And in terms of action, it only permits yan, no? It's only monoaxial. It means movement is in one axis only, no? Because the joint is only capable of rotation. Okay? So we can rotate our head. Of course, not 360 degrees, ha? So yan, no? So another, okay, we have the hinge or the ginglymus, no? Where do you see hinges? So the hinges, they are the supporting structures attaching our doors, diba, to the framework. Yung bisagra sa Tagalog, no? So it's formed, no, in a joint, it's formed when a convex surface of one bone fits into a concave surface of another bone. Okay, in this example, so you have here this is the surface of the humerus o yung bone of the upper arm. Tapos you have here the ulna. So this is the convex part, this is the concave part. Okay? So yan, no? And it says here again, it promotes monoaxial movement. So movement in one plane. So it could either be to flexion. No, flexion, you bend, diba? You decrease the angle, okay, between the bones. Okay? And extension naman, you increase the angle between the structures. Okay? So that's the movement of flexion and extension. Aside from the elbow joint, you also have the knee joint. You try to move your knee, di ba? Pwedeng extension, pwedeng flexion din. Okay? So as I am discussing, sabayan nyo rin no, ng practice. So another, we have the spheroid. Okay, parang sphere daw. The spheroid or the ball and socket. Okay? So it happens when a globular surface of one bone no, fits into a concavity of another bone. So we have here the hip joint and the shoulder joint. Diba? No, as in the case of the head of the femur, articulating with the acetabulum, and the head of the humerus, parang hindi natin nabanggit yung glenoid fossa, no? Sorry. Wait. Ito. So you have the head of the wala akong sample pala na-prepare. Ito. Yung head of the humerus, okay, articulating with the glenoid, ito. Glenoid fossa of the scapula. Again, a fossa is a depression, palalim. Parang cup-shaped cavity or depression rather, no? So ito. So this is the glenoid fossa. Again, you have here the shoulder joint, an example of a ball and socket or a trochoid joint, no? So yan. So this time is triaxial. It promotes three movements in three planes rather, no? So it could be yan, no, flexion extension, 'di ba? Shoulder joint, no, flexion extension or abduction adduction. Again, proper anatomical position, ha. So when you say abduction, that's movement of a part away from the midline. Kaya nga si Kwan inabduct ni ano, sabihin inilayo. No? And then adduction part or movement of a part towards the midline. Okay? So abduction, adduction. And then we have rotation. So ito. So you can also do that with the hip joint, diba? Flexion, extension, abduction, adduction, and then we have rotation. Okay? So last three, you have the arthrogel or the gliding. No, arthrogel or the gliding. So in here, the articular surfaces of the bones are flat. Okay, permitting sliding, no? Permitting biaxial movement or movement in two planes. So it could either be from side to side or front and back. Okay, so examples are the intercarpal. So in between the carpal bones and in between ito, the tarsal bones. Okay? And then we have here the ellipsoidal or condyloid joint. So again, it happens when an ovoid surface of one bone fits into an elliptical cavity of another bone. Okay? Like in the case of the joint no, that is formed between ito, the radius, okay, and two carpals. Never mind the names. Okay, o kaya naman yung metacarpals, no? The metacarpals and the phalanges. Okay? So movement is biaxial. So again, no, like like the arthrogel or the gliding, no? So it can promote again side to side or back and forth movement. And lastly, ay, teka, meron pa isa. Ito pala yun, no? So again, side to side and then back and forth. And then lastly, we have here the saddle. Okay, the saddle or the ciliaris. Okay, parang saddle sa kabayo, di ba? Yung upuan ng kabayo. Again, no? The joint is formed when a convex portion of one bone again fits into a concave cavity of another bone. Like in the case of the joint between the metacarpal of the thumb. You have the metacarpal of the thumb and one of the carpals. So ito yung joint, no? So saddle or ciliary. So again, it permits biaxial movement again side to side and back and forth. It can also do circumduction. Okay, pag circumduction, you can actually rotate your thumb. So yun, that's circumduction. Okay? So that's it, no? That's